I'm Julie. I'm the race director for the Insomniac Series. Here with us today, we have Garrett and Stephanie. Garrett and Stephanie are both doing the entire Insomniac Series, and they both happen to be first in our series standings for their particular series. So today they're going to tell us a little bit about their experience this summer. Let's start off by telling me which series you signed up for and what motivated you to sign up for the full series instead of just a couple individual races.
Yeah, my name's Garrett. I'm doing the Evolution series, and I was motivated to do the whole series for two reasons. One, I was just extremely curious about Aravaipa and the series in general. I had never done any trail running or night running really before this. And second, I was very motivated by the crazy discount that you do for the full series. And I was like, well, even if I only show up to 4 of these, it'll be worth it and it'll be really fun.
Absolutely. How about you, Stephanie?
I'm doing the wingsuit series, and actually the price was also a pretty big motivator, but also I like the idea of the series standings a lot, and just to kind of see how far I could go, where I could take it.
You were pretty competitive this year with the series standings. I loved it. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Me.
I keep looking at them.
Very good. Tell us a little bit about what your training looked like leading up to each of the events.
So I didn't really change my training for each event except for I tried to do a lot of heat training throughout, the whole summer. So where I wouldn't normally in the summer, say maybe run at 4 in the afternoon outside, I tried to do that on the hot days, do some of the heat training, do more trail run every week.
How about you, Garrett?
I didn't do any trail running other than the races. I did buy separate shoes, though, not to trash them. But no, I just like my running loop around downtown. I live downtown, so I just slowly grew my loop out from running down to Van Buren to running down to Jefferson to kind of eventually now where I'm running all the way down to the Salt River overpass and doing a big, 10 to 12 mile loop.
So for people that don't know, the Evolution series starts with our shortest distance with our first event in April. And then by the time you get to September, you're up to a 50K, to an ultra. So that's the series that Garrett's doing. And you said your training is gradually increased as you've gotten there. You mentioned that this is really your first trail experience. How did you even find Aravaipa, and why did you decide to switch from road to trail?
That's a good question. I think I found it by pure happenstance on the internet. I was looking for races in Arizona, and I knew I had missed the window for a lot of the marathons that happen in January and February. I had trained for a marathon a couple years ago and then got hurt, so I didn't end up getting all the way to the race. And so found Aravaipa and was at that time when I had discovered it not in training shape. And so I thought that the Evolution was like a great way to essentially get up to doing a full marathon, and not only that, but doing the 50K.
So we have the Google ad suggestions to thank, for you
know.
finding
Whoever's
us.
doing your SEO, tell them, good job. Yeah.
Very good. What has been each of your favorite events so far this summer?
So far, I think my favorite one is the Vertigo, which was the last one. I really liked that course. It was a fun loop.
At the White Tanks.
At the White Tanks, yes. And I like the White Tanks, and and also that was the closest race to my house.
So do you spend the most time training out there then?
Actually, I very rarely run at the White Tanks. I run a lot at Thunderbird, and I run at Deems. Thunderbird's terrible to run at, but I like it because it's hard to run, so I feel like if I'm training on a harder trail than when I go out to these races that usually have nicer trails, especially apparently the ones in the East Valley have very nice trails, then it's easier to run.
Mm-hmm. I live right by Thunderbird, and I concur.
Yeah.
The trails are so rocky.
It's so rocky. We just ran there. We ran on Saturday, and we cut through there. And after all that rain and the trail getting washed out, it's terrible right now.
Yeah. Oof.
Running on those harder trails helps later. So even if I'm running at like a shorter distance, I'm used to running the harder trails.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I love Vertigo as well. I think White Tanks is my favorite park because there's a lot more elevation gain, most of the Insomniac series are relatively flat. Since it is night running, we try not to torture you too much.
It did have that really steep hill that I underestimated.
Mm-hmm. You still did very well.
I did.
Were you first or second at Vertigo?
First.
First. Awesome.
So,
congratulations.
thank you.
How about you, Garrett?
I like the course at Vertigo a lot as well. What's the one at Usury?
Stunner.
I think Stunner was my favorite this year just because we had just had all of that rain. I believe it was in July. And the weather had cooled off quite a bit. And I had never run at Usury before. And especially at night with a headlamp, all of the cholla just look incredible while you're running through it. And, you're not like dodging cholla by any means, but you get to run through them in this very immersive way. I just found the time completely flew by while I was doing the race just because it was really, really beautiful.
Usury is really unique because I think it's the only park that has the chain fruit cholla.
Mm-hmm.
And in the summer, you always have so much of the fruit hanging down. And so it's super picturesque, especially at sunset, I think, if you happen to be there. And usually your event starts right as the sun's going down, so it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that course was super smooth, too.
Mm-hmm. It was. I think that's the flattest course.
It was pretty flat.
Mm-hmm. And smooth, like you said. Yeah. Except for the cholla balls.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the storms before Stunner. So let's talk a little bit about how the weather conditions have been so different at each of these events. So the first one's in April, as I mentioned, last one in September. So there's a lot of variation. So we had Adrenaline, which was, what was that like for you?
Adrenaline, I thought that was the one at the McDowell's.
Mm-hmm.
That one, the temperature was cooler that night, so it was really nice to run. And then afterwards, I was freezing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a lot of course records at that event because I was in legit a down jacket in May at Adrenaline because we had that cold front come through.
It was surprisingly cold.
Yeah.
I think Adrenaline absolutely gave me a false boost of confidence because I ran that one really fast and I was like, well, this is going to be a breeze, and that was not the case.
Yeah, so then very next event we had Hypnosis. So talk to us a little bit about Hypnosis for you, Garrett.
Yeah, so I was telling you before this, the Evolution series has been a great kind of learning curve for me because I went from being a street running, not carrying any water, very clueless runner to Hypnosis being a great lesson in the fact that I needed to carry water. It's 114 degrees the whole time. And 10 miles has never felt longer than that race.
Yeah, you mentioned that you didn't even carry water.
Yeah, that was
one.
Stupid looking back. I think when I got back when I got back to the aid stations at the finish line, I think I put down 3 or 4 Nalgene's in one standing.
Yeah, I'm glad you made it.
Yeah,
and
I
so,
am too.
After that event, what's your go-to now for these longer distances?
Yeah, now I'm definitely carrying water, and I honestly just use like the goo packets for food. Though I was excited to find out from the freebies at the aid station that there is a beer flavored one. That was a big win. Those are really fun.
What's it called?
Hoppy Trails.
Yeah, Hoppy Trails.
Yeah.
I also like that it doesn't have caffeine because I feel like that dehydrates me on the trail.
Mm-hmm. So Garrett started talking already a little bit. The next question I was going to ask you about nutrition in the heat. What have you found that works well for you? You said gels primarily?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I've tried, and it's worked so far.
Yeah, no reason to deviate.
Yeah, not at this point. Definitely not.
How about you, Stephanie?
Yeah, usually for running, I just use Excel gel. Just it's like goo.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
It's made by Pacific Health Labs.
Okay.
So, yeah, my cousin told me about it a long time ago, and so I tried it, and I like it.
Well, you found something that works for
Yeah.
you. So, again, no reason to mess with what's working.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. I don't normally eat anything at the aid stations. I don't stop at the aid stations. Usually I carry my water, and I did stop at the aid station at Hypnosis to refill because it was so hot.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that's it. For these shorter distances, it's just gels and water.
As long as you're fast.
Yeah, I guess.
I will say they make a mean quesadilla. I've definitely celebrated being done with a quesadilla. And
Oh, yeah,
really
eat the
good.
food after.
Yeah.
I'm all about eating the food after. We get the Freak Brothers pizza after.
Yeah,
Every
very
time.
good.
Every time.
Oh, it's so nice that we've been able to have them back again this summer. We missed it last year.
In fact, my little crew gets the pizza while I'm running, so I have it right there when I get
Hot
back.
and ready.
Yeah.
Oh, your crew has been pretty outstanding during the series.
Yep. Gene is the best crew.
Yep.
Shows up to every race, brings all the stuff, and makes sure I have everything I need.
Yeah, he's even helped me out some. I'm like, Gene, will you go just a quarter mile down the trail there and make sure that the course marking is still standing and that it didn't get knocked over?
Yeah.
Sure, Julie. So,
Yeah, Gene's amazing.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for people that maybe aren't comfortable running at night, maybe are looking at doing their first night race like this was for you, Garrett? Any tips for them? Any critter sightings while you're out there on trail?
I think in terms of night trail running, especially when you're first starting out, definitely get a headlamp that matches your confidence level. I think that I went in underpowered, and I feel pretty good about where I'm at now. But definitely helps in terms of just not, accidentally messing your ankles up, which would just be like the worst way to experience all of the great stuff about night trail running. So that's really, there's, I think the other part of it that's kind of interesting is how alone you are in some of the spaces. But again, after you have your adrenaline up a little bit and you get into a pattern with seeing all of the markers and things like that, it's very exciting and it's not scary.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be scared. I guess that's my tip.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's part what you just touched on about feeling really alone at night. I think that's part of what makes people so hesitant to sign up for a night race. But that is one of the great things about the Insomniac series is that they are all looped courses. If you're just doing the shorter distance, it's the just one loop. But if you're doing the ultra distance or longer, you're doing 4 or even up to 6 loops. So while you might feel alone for a short period, there's always people that are constantly looping. So you never are going to be the only headlamp that you see out there unless you're doing the 50K and you're the last person on course and then the sun's coming up anyways. And then you're just so happy to be done. Yep. So, yeah. How about you, Stephanie?
Definitely having a good light. A super bright light. I've been borrowing my friend's light. It's the Kogala, and I wear it on my chest, and it lights up the night. So I think that is one of the things that you absolutely have to have. Although I heard that there was a guy that ran, I think, the first race with no headlamp, the whole thing. Did that happen?
I didn't hear that, but I don't doubt it.
And I think he was pretty fast.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, pretty. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't hear that, but it doesn't surprise me.
It was at the first or second race. I heard some guy ran the entire course with no headlamp and finished maybe podium.
Oh gosh.
So,
but yeah, have good night vision,
I guess. But yeah, definitely the light is a lifesaver. Just being able to see what's coming up. Watch out for little snakes and scorpions and stuff, and then I think with trail running, just not being afraid. You just have, you can't be afraid to fall because everyone falls but.
Yeah, even during the day.
Yeah. So.
I fall more during the day, I feel like.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're a little bit more cautious at night and take it just a little bit slower. So.
Yeah. But that's where having a good light comes in, though. I mean, if you can see what's ahead.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. Those Kogalas, it's just like being in the middle of the day.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's with this series is the first time I've worn that.
Mm-hmm. Great. Very good. Any critters out on course?
So I jumped over a snake at Vertigo. It was on my second loop right before the aid station, and it was coming right across the trail. And so I got close enough to it, even with my crazy bright light, got close enough to it that I could only jump over it. I had to. So, and that was the race that had the most bugs and everything. I think because of all the rains, bugs and spiders and.
There's a lot of scorpions out at the white tanks.
Yeah, there were scorpions. There were some scorpions out there. At the other races, I didn't really see I know they had some scorpions out at Usery because some people went out with a black light, like looking just, around, but I didn't see any while I was running.
McDowell's has a lot of the field mice, or kangaroo mice.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Tons of those, too. I always feel like you're dodging them and hurdling them. Very good.
I saw one jackrabbit at McDowell, or adrenaline, which was really fun because I feel like you so rarely see those in the valley anymore. But no, I haven't seen any cool bugs. I feel left out.
I feel like I got hit in the face with so many bugs at Vertigo.
Yeah, it was pretty humid. There were a lot of mosquitoes at that one.
And it rained for like a minute. Like, I was into the second loop probably 2 or 3 miles, and it started to rain just enough for me to be like, am I going to have to, are my glasses going to get wet? Am I going to be able to see, whatever? Because my clothes were drenched at that point. So I couldn't have wiped off my glasses if the rain had soaked them.
So it was just enough to
It was
make it
just
humid.
for a minute. I got back to the finish, and apparently it had poured there.
Oh, gosh. Garrett, for you, this is going to be, you mentioned your first marathon distance and also your first ultra at Hangover. How are you feeling about that? What's your preparation look like leading up to it?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. In practice, I have run a full marathon distance twice now. I'm not going to do it anymore. That's it. We have a week and a half. I'm not getting hurt now.
It's taper time.
Right. But no, it was a real challenge, but I feel super accomplished having stuck to my running plan and just kind of, every Saturday slowly bring the distance up, and midweek just continue to normalize waking up and going to run for 8 to 10 miles and calling it good. So yeah, it's been really, really fun.
Do you think that you'll sign up for another ultra after this, or
yeah, hope
TBD?
So. I think I'm going to take a month off of, have like 4 straight Saturdays where I can sleep in. That's going to be lovely. Not wake up at 3 a.m. But after that, who knows? Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's an amazing accomplishment to stick with it all the way through the Evolution series. I think that one, a lot of people sign up with kind of good intentions, and then you get injured or, whatever, life happens. And
that was what I was planning on, I think. Yeah.
And then end up dropping down for one or more of the races. So great job sticking with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Can't wait to see what you do. For our Insomniac series, we do have series standings. So you earn points for each race based on the percentage of your time compared to the winner. It's a formula that's very complex. I don't do it. Fortunately, Ultra Signup does it for me. You can see all of those series standings on the Insomniac Ultra Signup page. There's a link to the standings. We have both Garrett and Stephanie in first place for men and women. So we do have podium awards for the series. We're hopefully handing out what we can at Hangover. If the math has to be done, we'll probably have to mail those. I think you guys are safe, though. And then the last thing I have, we do have a award for everybody that has completed every race in the series. So you get a finisher medal for each event.
That's awesome.
And this is a great way for you to be able to hang it up on your wall or put it on a coffee table. I know when you have them just as a medal, it's really easy to just kind of like stick them on. I know in my house it's on like a coat rack. And then they all just end up pressed up against each other and you can't see them. So for anybody that has finished the whole series, you'll get one of these at Hangover so that you can display all of your medals together.
That looks awesome.
I know, I'm super excited. So this is from Artworks. So they made these in-house.
Awesome.
So next up for us is Hangover. It's going to be on the 25th of September. Registration is still open until the 20th of September. So if you're watching, haven't signed up, there's still time for that. We do have everything from a 7K up to a 75K for that. Hangover came around kind of as a warm-up for Javelina 100. And so that's why we extend that one to the 75K distance for people that are running Javelina so that they can kind of, keep building their way up. They can see the course. Most of the loop for Hangover is going to be the same course as the Javelina 100 mile and 100K. So yeah, I think we'll get a lot of people out that are prepping for that too. We will have a shuttle for those that are in the 7K and the 15K distance. The Pemberton Trailhead is where the parking is for headquarters, and because it can only hold about 200 cars, we won't be able to have everybody park there. So parking for 7K and 15K is going to be at the Four Peaks Trailhead staging area where Javelina is staged out of. It'll be the first right as you're coming into the park. And then we'll have a bus that shuttles over to the Pemberton Trailhead. It's about a 20-minute drive, so I just want to make sure that people are, giving themselves adequate time to get there, park, and shuttle. If you're running the longer distances, 25K, 50, 75K, for you, Garrett, you'll be able to park on site there. And then that bus will be running for 5 hours, so if you want to hang out at the beer garden and listen to the DJ after your event, you'll still be able to get a ride back. And then lastly, if you have an amazing crew like Jean, they can drop you off, and then they can also park and take the shuttle if they want. So it won't be just for runners if you have the ability to get dropped off. So cool. Well, thanks so much for sitting down with us. It was great to hear about your experience. Registration for next year's Insomniac Series will open the week after Hangover. So if you guys are interested in joining us next year, defending your title, you'll have that opportunity then. So thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Julie.
All right. Thank you.